For so many people, trying to lose a significant amount of weight feels like a choice between two extremes. You've got diet and exercise, which, let's be honest, often isn't enough on its own. And then you have major, irreversible surgery. But what if there was a middle path? Today, we're going to dive into a groundbreaking procedure that's delivering surgical-level results without a single cut.
Just think about that for a second. What if that constant food noise, that little voice in your head always thinking about the next meal, could just quiet down? That's the huge promise behind this new technique we're exploring today, a way to tackle hunger at its very source, all in about the time it takes to grab lunch and run an errand.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the real dilemma patients are facing. Then, we'll get into this brand new endoscopic solution and the amazing science behind how it actually works. We'll look at the incredible results, compare it head-to-head with traditional surgery, and finally, talk about what this means for the future.
Okay, let's start with the core problem. The reality is, for many, obesity is a chronic disease, and lifestyle changes alone often just don't move the needle enough for long-term success. But the idea of bariatric surgery, well, that's a huge step, and it's totally understandable why so many people are hesitant. And that creates this massive treatment gap.
And this really lays out the tough spot people are in. On one side, you have approaches that don't really touch the powerful hormones driving your hunger. On the other side, you've got the surgical gold standard, which means permanently changing your anatomy, dealing with incisions, and a much longer recovery. Millions of people are just stuck right in the middle of these two options.
So how do we bridge this gap? Well, the answer might be in an amazing new procedure called Gastric Fundus Mucosal Ablation, or GFMA for short. It was designed specifically to give a powerful new option to all those people stuck in that treatment gap.
And here is the absolute game changer. GFMA is done endoscopically. That means a tiny, flexible tool goes in through the mouth. No cuts, no external scars, nothing. It's a 2-for-1 deal. It tackles the biological drive to eat and, at the same time, helps you feel full with smaller portions.
Okay, but how in the world does it actually quiet down that food noise? This is where the science is just so cool. To really get GFMA, first you gotta know a little bit about the hormone it goes after.
It all comes down to a hormone called ghrelin. You can basically think of it as your body's go eat signal. It's what makes you feel hungry, it's what drives cravings. And here's the crucial part. Almost all of it, we're talking 80 to 90%, is made in one very specific part of the stomach called the fundus.
So, here's how GFMA takes out those cells. In a procedure that takes less than an hour, the doctor starts by injecting a little protective cushion of fluid. Then, a special tool delivers very controlled heat that basically ablates or removes the stomach lining where those ghrelin cells live. As it heals, the area becomes a little less stretchy, which is a bonus because it means you feel full way faster.
Okay, the theory sounds amazing, but does it actually work in the real world? This is where the data from a couple of recent clinical trials, the Ablate I and II trials, get really exciting. They put GFMA to the test. And the answer was, wow, a huge yes. So when they paired GFMA with another endoscopic procedure called an ESG, which kind of stitches the stomach to make it smaller, patients lost an average of 23% of their total body weight. Now look at the chart. That's pretty much identical to the results you see from a surgical sleeve. That is incredible.
So what's the engine driving that weight loss? It's this. The trials showed that ghrelin, that hunger hormone, dropped by nearly half. For a patient, that's a life-changing feeling. It means less hunger, fewer cravings, and way less of that constant food noise.
And on top of quieting the hormones, you get that physical bonus we talked about. The healing process makes the top of the stomach about 42% less stretchy. This means you physically feel satisfied with smaller meals. It's like built-in portion control.
And maybe the most important number of all, especially if you're considering your options, 0. In the initial trials, there were absolutely no serious complications reported. For a procedure that's this effective, having that kind of safety profile is just fantastic news.
You know, it's about so much more than just the numbers on the scale. This quote from the trial really hits home. It's about a mental shift. It's about feeling less obsessed with food and finally feeling like you're back in the driver's seat.
All right, so we've seen the results are right up there with surgery. But what about the experience itself? How do they actually stack up? Let's put this new combo procedure, ESG plus GFMA, side by side with the traditional surgical sleeve.
This table just makes it crystal clear. With GFMA and ESG, Everything is done through the mouth. No cuts and no parts of your stomach are removed. With the surgical sleeve, it's an operation. Incisions are made and about 80% of the stomach is permanently cut out and removed. That changes everything. Recovery is days, not weeks. And, this is a big one, the endoscopic approach can potentially be adapted or even reversed down the line. Surgery is forever.
So, when you put all of this together, what does it really mean? Well, it honestly feels like we're watching the start of a whole new era for patients looking for help with weight loss.
It all boils down to this. For the first time, we have a procedure that hits the problem from both sides, the hormones and the mechanics of eating. It's minimally invasive, which means a way faster recovery. You get these amazing results without surgery, and you get to sidestep a lot of the nutritional risks that can come with surgery. It is, finally, a truly powerful new choice for all those people who just weren't ready for a major operation. And this is just the beginning. Researchers are already looking at other ways to use GFMA. Things like, could it help people keep weight off after they stop taking medications? Or could it be a kind of tune-up for someone who had surgery years ago and has started to regain weight? The possibilities are really exciting.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This isn't just about a new gadget or technique. It's about empowerment. It's about giving you more options, less invasive choices, and a real, genuine reason to be optimistic about your health journey.
Which leaves us with this one big question to think about. Is this the future? A future where serious weight loss doesn't mean permanently removing an organ, but instead is a one-time, outpatient procedure that works with your body's own biology? All the signs are pointing to a very new and very exciting answer.